Hello.
Bad, honey.
Welcome to ComeDy&D. ComeDy&D. Thanks for coming. Roll the intro.
I did look into it for a minute.
Cool. I think we're back. If we're not, then too bad. But hello. Welcome to ComeDy&D, Expedition to the North. I'm Hayden Garth-Neal. I'm the DM. Simon, who are you?
I'm Simon Timoney. I'm playing Sir Wiggles, the pug Ladin. He's a pug and a paladin. This week I'm brought to you by Faux Feet. They're vegan chicken feet. Vegan chicken feet for when you want that vegan chicken feet fixing and you just don't know where to get vegan chicken feet, veganchickenfeet.com. Bye.
Nice. Casey, who are you?
I'm Casey. My character for the Expedition is Lee, the Turtle Blade Singer. He's got a lot of shell, and sometimes when he needs some more shell, he casts Shield, which gives him the full wraparound shell.
This whole party has too much AC. I don't like it. Kevin, who are you?
Hi, I play Ubad Rabad, who has by far the lowest AC in the party. But he's also the best looking, the most elephant-like, and the most warlock. It's because, of course, he is a elephant folk warlock. Really likes getting that tusk gel, getting nice shiny tusks.
Anybody want to give a overview of what happened last time?
I do. Since I never do. All right. Last week, we went and found a ship where I sensed dead things on this ship, and there were ghostly sailors, and Captain Wellman Sachs, which I'm going to continue imagining is just one last name. Captain Wellman Sachs told us that he was investigating a murder. Whose murder? His murder. Then we had his, what was it, first mate, Krelling Herman, which I'm also going to believe, one name. Mr. Krelling Herman kept trying to keep the peace. They were sailing in some queen's name. Fenton, that's another name. And then Bozeman. So we went and I think we fought them. We died.
Are your notes just a series of names, basically?
Let's see. There was a skull, and the captain, actually, it turned out that he was from 300 years ago, and because the sun never sets here, he thought that it was all in the same day, not paying any attention to the rules of body competition, body decomposition, or anything
There
like
we
that.
go.
Bodybuilding competition?
I can do this. We found the Billy Boys volume 1 through 30, and afterwards we went on. We went on where you asked, to a tiny crack in a huge mountain. Nothing wrong with that. Where we fought a giant worm for 3 hours of real time, and we fought that worm so good, and it split and it went off, and now you're gonna see what was that James Franco movie where his arm was stuck in a rust? So you're gonna see that in D&D form tonight on ComeDy&D. How did I do? That was my first one.
Pretty good.
Really? No.
The fill in the blanks. I think you missed. You got the Death's Watch from the ship, which is a very powerful artifact.
And also just a great time to talk about our new sponsorship, Swatch. Just the best watches from the late 80s and early 90s, Swatch.
That's right.
Get them while you can. I don't think they make them anymore.
Nice. And then you fought the worm, and several of you tried to crawl over the worm, past the worm, into the worm tunnel, and were crushed nearly to death when Lee shot a fireball behind you, collapsing the tunnel behind you and severing the worm's head. You are now in a void in the tunnel between worm parts that you exploded. It is pitch dark. Wiggles and Ubad are knocked out from worm crushings. Lee is the only member of the team that is up. Wiggles and Ubad, get your d20s. Make death saves, please.
Well, we're not the only ones. There's also
Yeah,
my squire.
Are Ryan and Whiskers here?
Starting off with death saves.
That's 12. That's a save.
That's a 4. That's a fail. All right.
It is pitch dark. What do you do, Lee?
Well, first I will create a bonfire so I can see.
Cool.
And are Ryan and Whispers here?
Ryan and you look around and you look behind you and you see Sniffles behind you. It says, "I've been here the whole time, sire." And Ryan is standing in front of you. Says, quite the pickle we're in, isn't it?"
Ryan.
I believe Sniffles has been trained to pour a healing potion down Wiggles' mouth if he's downed.
You are correct. Sniffles slithers on top of the dead snake, or the dead worm where Wiggles is, and pours a potion down Wiggles' throat.
Before we do that, I remember specifically waking up in 4 hours. I think there was a medicine check performed on me. Am I the only one that remembers that? Is this a Mandela thing? Mandela effect? You know, where you really specifically remember one reality, but in the other one...
I think that happened in a different battle.
That was a different... That was a different episode.
I think that happened for the...
What if this is a dream that I'm having in
the
that
Illithid
episode,
thing,
and I'm just
which is
like,
very fitting.
Oh.
Cool. You are, in any case, there is some red viscous goo poured down your throat. It tastes like melted red vines.
That's delicious.
That actually sounds really good.
And you're healed.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna microwave some things. Just don't pay attention to me.
You're healed for 6 hit points. And you're up.
How many hit points are in a hit point?
17.
That's pretty good.
Not
Should
bad.
be full health.
Hey, so when I wake up, I gotta say, you saved half for Ubad, right? Ubad was supposed to get half of this.
That's not how potions work, sire. Only the last drop has any potency in it.
Oh, that's very scientific. I see. It makes sense to me.
The good parts are very heavy, you see.
I'm gonna go lay on pause on Ubad, and I'm gonna put some healing into him. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, all the healing.
All right.
For how many hit points?
How about 12? Is 12 good?
12. So
Stuck in a cave.
wonderful.
I want to ration it, so I've used 12. 25. Well, why don't they just sell it in just the last drop? If that's how it works, why is the healing potion a gallon when really you just need that one little bit? Why don't they just sell that?
The good part tastes very bad.
Oh.
You would spit it out. It's like feeding a dog a medicine by wrapping it in cheese.
It's like when a dog tries to eat a Nintendo Switch cartridge, right?
Yeah, you have to wrap it in cheese first. Did your dog try to eat your Nintendo Switch cartridge?
That's why if anyone's ever tried to eat a Nintendo Switch cartridge, they taste putrid. I have not, but just so dogs and kids don't eat them.
Someone tried to get me to lick one, and I was like, "Why are you telling me to lick a Nintendo Switch cartridge?" And after 10 minutes of convincing, they just explained it.
Yeah.
Huh.
No. You need to make more stuff taste bad.
It
I
has
think it's good.
Kevin's really into bitter things.
Yeah. Oh man, It's like an IPA. It's great.
like-
Earthbound tastes the best. You really get the hops.
You can really taste the earth. Cool.
Yeah, you can
You're all up.
really taste that telekinetic little boy.
Why doesn't everybody make me a dexterity save?
11.
Oh, that's really good. That's an 8.
Right. You'll take a 17. I had a nap.
Lee and Ubad, you feel little crumbly bits from the ceiling fall atop your head. Not enough to make you do any damage, but enough to concern you. Wiggles, you deftly step to the side of the pebbles falling from the ceiling.
I like to imagine I'm talking, and in the middle of it, I'm just maintaining eye contact with my team, and I'm just moving left and right, just avoiding them without even looking.
Do we get to add your do you have that paladin thing yet where we get to add your charisma modifier to our saving throws?
Yes. Wait. At level 6, that probably would have come in handy, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Okay,
We'll remember
so
that next time.
Oh, yeah,
I think you told us that before, but
I mean, I did, but I should also be useful. It's called Aura of Protection. If you're within 10 feet of me, you gain a bonus to saving throws equal to my 2 charisma modifier.
That's pretty good.
Be better
paladins,
if you were
man.
more charismatic.
Cool. You are all in a tunnel. Assuming you're all standing in between the worm sections. You're in about a 30-foot section of tunnel with a bunch of charred worm blood on the ground. The surrounding cave doesn't seem to be particularly stable, given by the fallen thing. You smell the acrid smell of scorched worm blood.
I kind of like it.
From the direction you came from, you understand that the cave has collapsed in. That's what it sounded like when you fireballed. The other side, there's a dead worm part blocking most of the tunnel, but you could probably squeeze by it.
I guess we should continue down the tunnel.
Yeah. Is anybody else really hurt?
yes, substantially.
Very.
Ryan, is there a reason that as a mercenary you don't attack people who are attacking us?
Ryan looks up to you slowly and says, "I am a mercenary. I only do as I am told."
Okay, so I am telling you, if someone attacks us, feel free to attack them.
I will feel free, sir.
I'd hate to give a negative report at the Jolly Owlbear. After all, I was told you are their best mercenary repeatedly, over and over, by you.
All right.
I thought he was more of a starter mercenary.
Hey, does anybody mind if I eat on stream? I'm just going to be real quick. I know it's disgusting and very impolite, but I gotta do it.
Mukbang,
Oh my
mukbang,
God, look.
mukbang, mukbang.
If anyone
Sound
else
off in the
wants-
chat.
If anyone else
Go
wants
for
to
it.
do the sound effects, that would be cool. Got my vegan chicken feet over here.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. That sounds like a real chicken, Simon.
Was that a Twinkie?
It really looks like one.
No, it was a full cob of corn. He just bit it off. The jaw strength on this guy.
I told you I went to the gym yesterday.
Shall we send a pet down the tunnel or just head down ourselves?
I mean, I think it would be very mean to send Ryan down. I don't know why you're calling him a pet. He, is the party's official mercenary, and we love him dearly. I could just simply send a Pompadour down.
Cool. Are you doing that?
Yes, I will do that.
Can Pompadour see in the dark?
Yes, he can
Cool.
also see in magical darkness.
Oh, yeah. I remember now. Cool. Pompadour flies down the tunnel for For how long?
I mean, I think he'll kind of go 50 feet at a time. Sort of. Let's. I'm gonna just preemptively give him a stealth roll. I think he has somewhat decent stealth. I'm gonna keep rolling until I find his stats.
I mostly ask because I forget how far away he can go for you and to report back or how that whole thing works.
I think as long as we're on the same plane.
Okay. So he flies down the tunnel, and he makes it past the worm tail, which is about 100 feet back, and it seems to be more tunnel.
I guess we should get over there. Let's squeeze through the top of the worm.
All right, guys.
And
I'm eating
start
some of
going.
this dead worm that I found. It's actually really good. I won't lie. I tried to cut around the poisonous parts.
Roll Constitution.
Damn comedic effect. Oh,
I
man.
think in real life, rolling for Constitution is just doing sit-ups and see if you throw up.
All right, 6.
All right, get on the ground. Give us 6 sit-ups.
I should stop eating now. I think I bit into a poison sack.
You're poisoned.
Those vegan chickens are very poisonous.
It's so good. Yo.
You
So good and cruelty free.
you feel you take a bite of worm flesh and you feel it's icy blood go through your veins and you feel a chill throughout your body. You are poisoned.
Oh, okay.
Are we in a rush? I mean, do we? I know we were looking for, that evil woman, whose name briefly
Pelia?
escapes me. But we were looking for Pelia, and we saw tracks leading here. But are we in any type of rush to move? Because we had a long day with the ghost pirates, and I think we all look worse for wear right now.
Well, I think the main rush is the ceiling. The ceiling rush. Maybe if we just move a little further in to the cave, to an area that has not recently been plied with explosives.
Okay.
Normally I eat cruelty free, except when it's a giant worm that tried to kill us and we fireballed it. That doesn't count.
Wiggles, don't eat the worm.
This is something else I found.
Okay.
There it
good,
goes.
good.
Drop it. Drop it.
Someone make an animal handling check.
I love when the dogs eat faster.
I got a 0.
Wiggles did not drop it.
Wiggles, it's chocolate. They're made of chocolate.
Yeah, so good. I'll go first since I have meager dark vision.
You do?
I do.
Oh.
I will light a torch.
I've known this the whole time too. I'm like the rest of a paladin.
It's the other two of us do not have dark vision.
So I'll go first. Using my perception checks to sniff.
Roll perception.
All right. This is how we do it. It's 21. It's 21.
So you smell the smell of acrid burnt worm blood throughout the cavern, but like as you concentrate and you smell, you just get like the slightest whiff of like of fox? What smells like fox?
Oh, shit. Does it smell a little bit like... Sorry, I found another something else. Does it smell a little bit like the foxes that we met back at the giant illithid hole?
You know, it just might.
That's interesting. I will let everybody know that.
I forget, were we nice to them? Or
Yeah.
I mean, we killed some of them, but we set them free.
this is true.
Yeah. Wasn't I trying to get one to be a squire? Wait, let me go back.
I mean, that certainly sounds like you, Wiggles.
Yeah.
I think you held one hostage and tried to get to be squire, and when it said no, you let him go.
But he had to run away. It's not like, and then even then I chased him. I remember that. Okay.
You chased them, and then you caught some, and then you let them go.
Let my foxes go.
Okay. Yeah, so I let everybody know that. Be on the lookout for foxes.
Okay.
Well, if there's a mirror, I'm sure I'll see a stone cold fox right away.
Roll performance.
Roll perception looking for mirrors.
Don't go on their
That
news
is
channel.
a 20.
Ubad's joke was hella funny, everybody.
I get it. Oh, that test gel.
It's not my fault that my character is funnier than I am.
Oh.
Don't watch their news. It's bullshit. That's a natural 20. That joke was even. It was a natural 20. Great. I used
For
it.
what?
That was my joke. It was Fox News. Don't watch it because it's okay. Oh. They found it funny because I rolled. So.
Sniffles found it hilarious.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we actually? We should probably be stealthy.
Yes, although we just blew up this entrance and there's an enormous worm.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
you know,
we blew
it's never
things
too
up.
late.
We need the light to see. I mean, I think there's a cap at our stealthiness.
Definitely mine.
Have we made it down to the tip of the tail yet?
I was unsure that you guys had started yet. Yes, you have.
Does it seem more stable here?
You can investigate.
Can I just stab it as we walk?
15.
Yeah, you notice like the roof doesn't seem to be crumbling anymore.
Okay, shall we take a brief breather here?
In
And
my
I guess-
experience,
Yes.
the ceiling caves in wherever you try to take a short rest. That's just me.
So, long rest, you're saying?
I think so. That's very wise.
Okay, well, either way, I will cast Liamon's tiny hut to shelter us from the roof. Although, if it caves in on the hut, that will be a problem as well.
Why?
Well,
You're just gonna
because
be in a void in the.
it only lasts for 8 hours. Although it does solve the problem of air, so it could be worse.
It's like the Steven Universe season 3 finale.
What if we were all in a tiny hut, knowing we were about to die with Ryan?
If you and I, Lee, combine, we form Amethyst, and we can just break our way free.
I don't know how to do that.
You just
guys.
have to use your jewel.
Oh, I think I lost it.
I just want to let you know that a dog will never eat its owner. This is actually a true story. My mom adopted a dog whose owner killed himself, and the dogs were in the room for like 3 days. And the dog, they didn't eat the guy. Cats.
What a waste.
So I won't eat you guys. I will eat Ryan. So I could do that now, actually. I'm not hungry. I'm just saying.
So how long of a rest are we taking? How long has it been since our last long rest? We kind of woke up and went right on the ship, right? So it may not have been that
Yeah.
long. So maybe just a short rest?
It's about 6 hours, I'll say.
Aiden, did you want to roll for a healing potion for me?
I did. You had 6 health.
Oh, thank you. Good. Only had a pencil. Okay.
I'm fine with a short rest, especially once I remember my hit die. There it is, a D8.
Well, I'm low on spells, but I can continue with a short rest as well.
Hold on, I'll play the short rest music. This one's
Okay, so we take a short rest.
Cool.
Attempt to take a short rest.
You're in a bubble. You're taking a short rest. Are you doing anything specific during the short rest? No.
Mostly resting. I mean, keeping an eye out.
What's the weather
familiars.
like?
Cavey. Very cave-like.
is it cold?
Does the tiny hut do anything about that?
Yeah. The temperature is always perfect inside. Which, since I'm a turtle, probably is like a little too hot for Sir Wiggles.
Ooh, a 7 and an 8 on my hit dice. That's just the first two. Smoking.
The atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry, regardless of the weather outside. Man, D6 hit die, that is painful.
Are you doing? Is the interior of the orb? Is it dark or is it dimly lit?
On the inside?
Yeah, you gotta choose.
Dimly lit.
Okay.
And the outside is opaque, right? A color of my
Yes.
choice. It's wormtail colored.
Do you add your Constitution modifier with hit die?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
That usually accounts for most of my recovered hit points.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, I'm back.
As you rest, as you are you're laying low for about 40 minutes into your 1 hour short rest, you start hearing like a tapping from. I suppose. Okay, it's transparent from the side. Yeah, you hear tapping from one side of the Leonid's tiny hut, and then when you look, you see two fox people looking at the tiny hut and like tapping and trying to get by it.
Is that who
But-
was? Oh, sorry.
But presumably it blocks the whole tunnel.
Is this who it was rapping at his door in the Raven? Is this part of the Halloween? Is this where it gets spooky?
Is whenever you hear someone knocking at a door, you're like, oh, like from the Raven.
And I'm like, oh, Fox people. So, can we just do the it's Fox people in the Raven canon?
We already had the Raven boss, whom you guys befriended.
Yeah, it's a Raven who is also a red herring. So, Fox people, let's go.
Now we're waiting on the hot under the floorboards boss. And that boss who invites us in for wine but then just bricks up a wall and lets us die.
How many hit points? What's the wall's AC?
Good question. DM? Yeah, very important.
Do you drink the Amontillado? Because that determines if you have advantage or not.
Yeah.
Oh. I smell it. Does it smell like poison?
I ate something. I
Smells
found.
like Amontillado, whatever that smells like.
Oh yeah, let's drink it.
Roll
Chestnuts?
Constitution.
Montiato is also my stripper name.
That's a 23.
You are not drunken. You're fine.
Yeah.
Ubad, do you want to try to make contact with these foxes as a fellow fox? According to your earlier joke, you know.
Sure. Why not?
Sure, don't ask the
Has it
dog.
been an hour?
Yeah.
Oh, it has? Nice.
It came to before it started happening, and so now the foxes are stopped and they're kind of like talking to each other.
Fellow foxes, but you are more literal foxes while I am a figurative fox. Do you understand the common tongue?
The foxes. Is the tiny hut like gone? What's going on?
It lasts 8 hours, so I think he just like steps out or sticks his head out.
Ubad?
Yes, he's just sticking his head out. There's just a giant elephant head making this proclamation. What does he see and how much damage do they do to him?
There are two small fox people there. They see you and immediately yelp and scamper away.
Foxes, come back. We mean no harm. We've freed your kind from some sort of giant illithid.
Then, they're off in the dark. You can't see them.
So did we figure out their language was Dwarvish, kinda?
It was a form of Dwarvish. An archaic form of Dwarvish.
Okay, but they're gone.
You don't currently see them.
Okay.
They scamper down the tunnel.
Can I use minor illusion to make the Dwarvish symbol for hello as far away as I can, just to see, like glowing writing of the word hello in Dwarvish, to see if that does. Hello.
I don't think you can write Dwarvish.
Well, it is the written language of my native Tortle tongue.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Cool. Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, I do that.
You do that, and from just out of vision, you can hear. And you see, if you could see, just in the dark, some light reflecting out of a pair of eyes.
Okay, I switch it to the word for friends, question mark. If Dwarvish has question marks. I have to go deep on the lore here.
So, currently, Ubad and Lee are standing outside the tiny hut, or what? What's up?
Yeah, I think I left it, so he went away.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell it I won't try to make it by Squire.
You see the foxes, the other fox comes out and they go a little bit closer and they yell.
Okay, I guess I will cast comprehend languages so I can understand them.
What a way to communicate.
Yes, it's gonna be complicated.
It's like the UN.
Ubad Wiggles, do either of you write Dwarvish as well?
Giant and Celestial?
I think Giant is
No.
also Dwarvish.
Might it be?
Where's the information on this? Languages.
Is it page 123?
Yeah.
I have
Giant is
Common,
Dwarvish.
Loxodon, and Elven.
Giant
Giant is also
is
Dwarvish.
Dwarvish.
Whoa!
Everything is Dwarvish.
Or,
Yeah,
or
a
Elvish.
lot of stuff. Yeah. You thought you were pulling one on us.
What does Loxodon use?
It's not in this page.
Yeah.
You're Aquan?
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay. Yep,
Which is-
that sure is Dwarvish.
Yeah. Apparently, only like a couple of races came up with writing, and then everyone else just borrowed it.
Like China.
So we've already made the call for the purposes of this game, but when it says the script is in Dwarvish, does it mean it uses the Dwarvish character set? As in, like, Spanish and English use the same characters, and Russian uses a different one, or
Okay, good point. Good point.
or
Maybe this
is
didn't
it
work.
like Mandarin and Cantonese use the same writing?
Right.
I already called that this worked, so we're doing this.
Great.
You're an
I mean, I think when they say
DM.
in the same writing, you're kind of talking like, like Romance languages all have
Yeah.
the same alphabet.
That's what that's what I'm saying. But for the purposes of this game, it means it works like Mandarin and Cantonese, where it's literally in the same in both places.
Tree
Well-
man.
Yeah, I will say with the man in Cantonese, like it's not perfect 1-to-1. Like they use different characters, even though the characters are the same.
Oh, really?
But like basic concepts should work.
Linguistics D&D. Cool. So, yeah, I'm gonna say it seems like they can get basic concepts. So, as you hear them shout out, "Who are you? Why did you block your friend? Are you friendly? You say you're friends. Why did you block the tunnel?"
Can I minor illusion like the worm attacking us? Or just like point at the worm, maybe.
I feel like if you want to make like a little movie, I feel like that warrants some kind of role.
Agreed.
What's a performance? Why don't you give me a performance role for that?
14.
You make a cool worm, and there's like a cool. Why don't you describe the little movie you make?
Well, I can only make objects, so it's kind of stop motion. Every 6 seconds changes. You know, it's like us riding up to the door, and then the worm is there, and it's like biting us, and we look scared, and then it's the worm on fire, and then it's us at the back of the worm.
I don't remember it happening like that.
I'm simplifying.
Thank you.
They're like, oh, are you okay?
I'll shake my head no.
Now they smell blood.
The foxes come out of the dark, and one of them scrambles around in the little like satchel, and they pull out some leaves, and they say, "And do you have any visible wounds?"
I think so, yeah.
So
Probably, yeah. I'm not at full health.
the fox walks up to you and like points at your at a gash on your head, and holds the leaf up to it.
I like rub it on the gash.
The fox is like beckoning on you to bend over.
Okay, I bend down. Although I'm only, what am I, 5'5"?
The foxes are like 4. They're shorter than you.
Okay, I bend down a little.
The fox takes the leaves and chews them up into a paste, and then smears it on your wound. And suddenly, it's feeling better. It feels less painful, and you heal for 4 hit points.
Wow.
Whoa. How do they grow leaves down here?
Guys, I think we could exploit this leaf and really undermine the whole healing potion trade.
The other fox grabs that fox by the wrist and says, "What? We shouldn't. What? Should we trust them? We don't know them. They're down in the tunnel. They exploded the tunnel."
Does anybody have like a gift that we could give these guys?
Ooh. Yes.
I don't think they
Yeah.
would like shell wax.
Yeah. Can you give them? I'll give them 1 hour's worth of fuel powder.
Wiggles, have you stepped out of the tiny hut?
Oh,
Yeah, Tiny Hat's gone.
Yes.
Okay, the tiny hut is gone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now
we were there.
now they see you, Wiggles, and they gasp, like, you freed us.
Tell them it wasn't me. What are they saying?
You freed them?
Oh, that was me. Wait, I did?
You let us go. Yes.
What are they saying? It wasn't me.
They know it was you, Wiggles.
Oh no, this is not good. Oh boy. All right. Tell them I'm sorry.
I can't really talk to them. You have to act it out.
Okay. I pee in the snow? Is there snow?
There's no snow.
I tried telling a story like Casey told, but with urine. How far do I get? I'll roll.
What's the story you're trying to tell?
I'm trying to say
Will you be my squire?
there's the Illithid, and it's attacking like us and the fox people, and then I did that, and then I may have accidentally hurt one of the fox people, and I'm sorry. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Roll performance with disadvantage. Roll sleight of hand with disadvantage. No performance. I'll just make it performance.
Okay, this is good because I have perform. 13, Hayden.
They get the gist.
They have wonderful imaginations. As long as we're cool. It's like a temporary cave painting.
They say they're like the foxes look at each other, and the one that with the healing paste, who is slightly taller, says to the smaller one, we have to bring them back to town. We have to bring them. Maybe they could help.
Do you guys want to go to a town full of foxes?
I give them a flask of oil.
I'm really worried they're gonna drink the oil and eat the fuel powder.
Well, tell them that that's not what it's for.
I can't talk to them.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I keep forgetting.
They seem crafty.
I
like them. They remind me of me.
The front fox, the bold fox, takes the flask of oil in its hands, and like just like kind of looks through it at the fire, and it like makes a like it's like refracting and stuff, and it seems really into it. It says, "I will cherish this gift. Thank you."
I go up in dog language. I say, "Don't eat. It's chocolate."
Performance.
How much pee do I have?
Don't eat looks a lot like eat when you're just using sign
Yeah,
language.
I was assuming this is for pantomiming.
Do you want straight roll?
Yeah, performance.
Another 13.
They're like, he looks like, okay.
Chocolate. Don't eat. No.
Ryan, Sniffles, do either of you speak Dwarvish by any chance? And just have not been mentioning it.
Sniffles, I command you to know Dwarvish now.
Instead of making a roll for it, I'm just gonna say no. Because I like the current state of affairs.
That's an order, Sniffles. You know Dwarvish right now.
I'm trying, sir. Dwarf.
Your accent is terrible, Sniffles.
Dwarf. Do they understand?
Is that right? He's getting it?
I cast comprehend languages so I can understand whatever he says in any language.
Dwarf.
You'll have to be the judge, Sir Wiggles.
You can still stay my squire for now. Keep working on it.
Thank you, sire.
Can I go to the foxes and say, point at myself, Lee, and then point at them?
The larger fox says, Lee. Rocky. And then points to the other fox and says, Eiffel. And then that fox kind of hides behind Rocky.
Rocky Eiffel. Wiggles, Ubad, Ryan, Sniffles.
Yes. You should come with us. Come. And they start scampering down the wall, down the tunnel.
Hayden,
What?
would I, being proficient in history, know anything about foxular peoples, their customs, their ways, any interactions between our people? Since I'm pretty sure we kind of came from the same great wolf mother, eh?
The story of the Fox and the Hound.
Yes. Which one am I?
Yeah.
Constitution roll? Okay.
History roll.
If anyone wants to help. Okay. 13. Rolling hella 13s. It must be Halloween.
Nothing.
I think they have 8 breasts like everyone else. So, okay.
Yes. Wait, do turtles have breasts? I don't know.
They lay an egg with a breast that the the turtle feeds on.
They're not under your shell.
I don't know. I can't really look down that far. You know, my neck.
What do you pierce for fun?
The shell, obviously.
Oh. It's kinky.
Rocky and Eiffel are scampering down the tunnel and looking back at you and gesturing.
We scamper after them.
Cool.
Roll for
Like-
scamper.
Yeah, everybody roll for scamper.
This is scamper music, you know.
I got 8
I feel like
scamper.
dogs should auto succeed on scampering.
You know, I do too, especially since I just rolled in that one.
You scamper very bad.
It's like
So that's a 15. I don't know what we're adding to that, but this elephant can scamper.
it's like watching your white aunt's dance to rap at a wedding. Anybody else? Just me?
Just you.
Okay.
Cool. Down the tunnel some ways, there is the foxes stop about 20 minutes walk down the tunnel, and they kind of they dig a little hole through the wall and reveal a side tunnel and gesture that you come up into it.
8 nipples, just me?
Yes.
I knew a kid with 6 nipples.
Was it a dog? Was it
Oh.
was it a goat?
It was a human. It was a human dude in my taekwondo.
Why did they have 6 nipples?
That's how they were born. They just had, and it was like normal, and then the next 2 down were lighter, and then the next 2 down were even lighter. I know it's a lot to process.
So you're following the foxes, I assume?
Yes.
Yes.
That you all go up into a little side tunnel, which is much smaller than the current tunnel. You all have to go on your hands and knees. And Rocky kind of gestures you all in before hopping in last and covering up the side tunnel.
Very wise.
And as you go forward, you smell. It kind of it almost smells like tropical. Like there's plants or something and humidity in the air. And there you see a light distant down the tunnel as you crawl closer and closer. It's getting weirdly warm. and then you exit into a very large, well-lit cavern that's full of plants and trees. And you see it looks like cultivated patches of the herb that Rocky used on you. And it's like this big rocky cave, but there's all these plants in it. And you see a little off in the distance, there's like a lot of little huts that are like put together with what look like bone or something. And there's a like couple thatched together wooden like lean-tos and little, pretty primitive huts. But you see some foxes running around in there.
Like elephant bones? Like big bones?
You recognize similar building materials from the ice goblins. Like they're made out of bone squid bones or something.
Okay. Do we have somebody in the glove right now who might speak Dwarvish? I can't remember who's in there.
I think it's just what's his name? Sheplin.
Yes, it's just Sheplin, and I severely doubt it.
Okay. Can I call Carrie?
Yes.
Carrie, can you translate to Dwarvish?
Yes. I can translate to almost any known language.
Carrie, can you hear these fox folk speaking? Do you know their language?
I have not heard them speak.
Can I hold the stone up while they're speaking?
Yeah, speaker stone.
The foxes just kind of like tilt their head at you.
Carrie, can you please say in Dwarvish, hopefully archaic Dwarvish, does anyone here speak common?
Dwarvish is Simlish, apparently.
It's very beautiful.
When the voice comes out of the sending stone, Rocky and Eiffel are surprised and jump back once again. They say, "It talked. It can talk. What? It's common. That's I don't. Maybe the man we found can. Maybe." Come with us. Yes, come.
They say they found a dude.
And so they lead you into the village, which is in the middle of this large cavern. You could see, like, floating in midair above, in the center of the village, high above all the cabins, all the little lean-tos, is a very familiar crystal, which you saw two of in Roberth Gardens. And there seemed to be a place for a missing one.
Oh, they're dirty thieves.
And a lot of the foxes, when they see you, like dart off and try to hide. And Rocky says, "No, friends, they're friends." And several of them, they don't come back, but they're like kind of watching you from the trees. They're very skittish. And Rocky walks up to a one of the larger cabins that seems a little bit more built up and has like a curtain over the door, and walks up and holds the curtain aside and gestures you in.
We enter.
I go in.
Cool. Inside, as you all walk in, you see this is nice. It's a pretty simple setup. There's like a nice floor covering made out of some sort of hide on the ground. There is like a couple sitting areas, and the side of the room you see lay in the bed is a man who is definitely not a fox. He seems to be a tiefling of some kind, asleep and looking very sick.
Did you put leaves
said-
on his head?
And he says, he's this man. He spoke. I think he speaks common. He speaks many languages. Maybe you could talk to him.
Wiggles, you want to take a look, see what's wrong with him?
Yeah. I go put my paw up to his artery.
As you walk up to him, he looks terrible. He looks like he's like mostly wasted away.
I think he ate the purple worm, you guys. This is terrible.
You're no longer poisoned.
Can you ask them if they tried putting leaves on his head?
You can ask Carrie to ask him.
Carrie, can you ask them if they put leaves on his head?
We used all of our strongest herbs, and it didn't seem to help. He seems to have something is devouring him from within. We tried to help, but we couldn't. After he helped us so much.
What did he say? Okay, I'm gonna lay on pause. I'm gonna use 10 healing.
Which can also remove like some conditions or something.
Yeah.
I think 5 remove disease.
Gout, gonorrhea.
Can I investigate to see if I find any death mold here?
Yeah.
I got an 18.
You sense death mold within the glove of holding, but nowhere else.
You got me.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's on another plane.
It was a good roll.
Carrie, does this speaking stone function as like a tricorder where you can scan somebody who's sick remotely through it by any chance?
No.
Too bad. Sorry, I said too bad, not ooh bad. Just in case that was unclear.
So did you lay on hands the man?
For 10.
You lay on hands him. He gasps a little and opens his eyes. Says, "My word." He I should mention he doesn't seem healed at all. It just seems like you woke him up.
Sir Edmund Atkins, I presume.
How did you know? Have you been sent to rescue us? State your name.
My name is Ubad, son of Rabad, prodigal son of Celestia.
Oh, the beautiful kingdom.
Yes,
I've been there many times.
Speak of it soon when you're healed, but save your breath and tell us what is wrong with you, Sir Edmunds. Atkins.
I don't suppose you've read about my adventures. You've read the volume of my adventures where we went to seek the mortal blade, did you?
I mean, we came across some books along those lines, I think, yes.
I think I read a couple. I know Lee read all of them.
Well, then you know that at the end of the journey we came back empty-handed, or so I thought. It seems Heaven Lutz had my loyal navigator had found the blade, but he kept it from me. I didn't know his disloyalty ran so deep. He kept it from me for years. And then we came to this place, and we needed to find passage through these fine people's village, and oh my God, Varian, he was going to strike them down. He had done many questionable things up to this point, but I couldn't let him do that. And it seems Hammond, he took Varian's side, and he struck me with the mortal blade. And I am now wasting away for it. It seems I'm not dead yet.
Is there any cure?
My, to my knowledge, I have not found one besides perhaps divine intervention or something of that level of power. The mortal blade was known to be a wound one could not escape from. It seems that every day, until I am cured, I must make a constitution save. And if I fail, then I lose 1 point of constitution.
Oh,
Until I die, and now I have like 2 constitution or something, and that's why I'm like this.
crazy. You have a +2 while I'm around. So.
Yes, you should really start sleeping with Sir Wiggles.
Oh, I would love to sleep with such a powerful being as yourself, such a
very warm.
magnetic, but I am in no condition to.
He said magnetic butt.
Well, maybe if we could get you to a temple or something, some powerful healers.
I would love such a thing. I'd be up for such an adventure, but I am afraid that my body is failing me, and I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to make it out of this cabin alive at this point. What an end for such a wide traveling adventure to be stuck in a hut. It's funny, in a way.
It's too bad. Oh, bad. Put him in the glove. You put him in the... Do they stop aging if you put him in the glove?
I think, is he too big to be held up? I'm a 7-foot-tall elephant.
Does having incredibly shit constitution make you lighter, is the question I'm entertaining right now.
Yeah, is he just like thinning in? Is it just like thinner? You know?
Yeah,
it's
it is exactly like thinner. Perfect. You have to bleed him into a pie to cure him.
If
Sir
necessary,
Edmund, we are going to bleed you into a pie. Wait, no.
Let me roll for how heavy he is. He seems like he's wasted away to the point where maybe it'll work.
Sir Edmund, we have a way to suspend you indefinitely until we can get to a temple. Would you be willing to do that?
Quite an adventure, I think.
You'd
Yes.
be next to Sheplin, but he'd also be suspended, and I don't think he can talk to you.
Oh, that boy. As long as you promise I don't need to talk to him, then yes, I would like my story, if my story did not end here.
Before we do so, we would like just to ask you a few things.
Of course, of
and
course.
prepare ourselves for whatever shall happen next.
Can I have your stuff when you die? That's our first question.
He looks at you and kind of laughs a little.
What's so funny?
Very pragmatic he is.
I would, yeah.
A man after my own heart, and he would take my own heart if it was valuable, I think. Tell me, are you a rogue?
Is that like? Does that mean handsome? Then yes, very handsome. I can't see it because I'm a dog. And
Yes, it doesn't quite translate, even though my tastes are very worldly.
this underbite and my tongue hanging out are signs of good breeding. That's what that means. So
I can.
Have you ever been to Puglandia?
I have many a times. I've been a guest of the Queen. It is such an honor. They have the best rawhide bones to chew. It is quite the treat.
oh, well, may you see it again one day.
I do wish that.
Hey, do you think the foxes are going to be okay with the whole me taking them over in the name of the Queen thing, whole colonization thing? Is that you think they're gonna?
No. The foxes, they are quite skittish, but they are proud, and they would fight tooth and tail to the end to retain their fierce independence. I've seen it. I fought with them. And if you are saying you come to conquer them, then I will oppose you as they will. Tell me, are you here on a mission of conquest?
It's like
Or a mission of knowledge?
it's like a side quest. It's like a bonus thing. It's not like main thing. And we're pretty chillaxed about the whole colonization thing. But if it sounds like a hard no. So
Yes, I would. He kind of.
here's a leaf.
Thank you. And he chews on it a little.
Sir Lawrence, where did you last see Varian, and where do you think we could find him?
Well, they must have continued on through the caverns after they struck me down. To continued. It is my understanding, Hemin's understanding, he was my navigator, you see. He was so talented. It was his understanding that beyond these caverns lay the ice labyrinth, which was our destination. I suspect if Varian is not dead, he is there.
So, at this time, the party was you, Hammond, Varian, and who else?
It was Hemin, me, Varian, and the two sisters. It was, and Ifrin, of course. And poor Bilby. Oh, poor Bilby. He was
Did Effin
no longer with us. Who?
Did Effin ever mention the order?
The order? Like just the order. He was a priest, I know this much, but I'm afraid I didn't talk to him much. He kept to himself.
He served a group called the Order of Silence.
And Lawrence's eyes open. He's like, oh, I see. Yes, I suppose that makes sense given what I've learned to now.
And what have you were here for the Winter's Crown?
I came for glory. I came for exploration, for knowledge. But that Sheplin, he couldn't keep his mouth shut, and he wanted to impress me, it seemed, and he spilled the real purpose of the expedition to get the Crown of Winter and to bring it back to Suzail and use its power to get rich. I suppose you could conquer many lands with it, but it seems like such a waste. so much destruction, so much. I think he wanted the crowd's power. That much is clear now.
Do you have any maps to the labyrinth or of this theoretical route through the labyrinth?
You'd have to get those from Hemin. He was the navigator after all.
And I think you told us this before. Hammond was human?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hemin is human.
It's right there in the name.
Is there anything that we need to bother the poor sir with before?
Well, Sir Lawrence, we can't really talk to these foxes. But one question. Was this sunstone already in the sky when you arrived? I assume so.
Yes, that's. I inquired the foxes about it. Apparently, they came across it some years ago, and it's really. Since they've had it, they've been able to create this whole garden you see here. Before it was very cold and dark, I'm told. Such clever things. These foxes. Such noble creatures.
And do you have any way of communicating with them if you didn't speak Dwarvish?
Well, I do speak Dwarvish, do you not? What explorer does not? What explorer with his salt does not speak Dwarvish?
Yes, it is a big hole in our party.
I curse at him and locks it on.
Oh, yes. Very colorful, thank you.
I'm impressed.
It's mostly trunk related.
You call him a no trunk.
Okay, so I won't take your stuff when you die, but do you have anything that could aid us on our journey right now to see that you come to a safe place? Magic items, perhaps.
I'm afraid everything I had was taken away from me.
Terrible.
When I was struck down, they didn't leave me with much. Everything I have now was given to me so generously by these people you see before you.
No boots of holding?
No.
Do you have any advice of dealing with this mortal blade other than don't be hit by it?
Well, lucky you. The trick is, if all of my research is correct, the curse of the mortal blade can only affect one person at a time, and until that person, that is I, until I die, it is but a sword.
Oh. And is there tell of a cure? Did anyone ask that yet? Sorry. I zone out.
Yeah, we've covered that.
You went over
It's-
that.
Divine
Yeah.
intervention.
It's
It's
really
back there.
it's
There,
really
the-
hard.
The god thing. Okay. I know you're sick and dying and really, really skinny right now, but you
Yes, thank you.
want to be my squire. It actually be more of an honorary title at this point.
Squire Emeritus.
I have served the squire in the Puglandia Queen's army. I've done my time there, but thank you for bringing me back to my youth. It's quite a treat.
Okay.
The answer is no, but thank you.
It was more complimentary, but okay.
Okay, sir. On the count of 3, make a funny face.
Great.
1, 2, 3. I grab him and freeze him in the glove.
Cool. It worked. How many things do you have in your glove?
I think that's 3.
You have the death mold. You have Sheplin. You have Lawrence Edmund Akmanos. You have... Did you not put the weird worms in there?
You mean like the worm parts?
No, the little vial of worms you found.
I can't remember if that's in there or in the ring. We can say it's in the glove for now.
Cool. That's fine. The Rocky peeks in and is like, oh, you still have comprehend. How long does comprehend languages last?
It's an hour.
Okay, that's fine. What did you do with him? Where did he go?
I will try and pantomime this. I should be quite good. I have a trunk after all. How do you even get across a sad elephant in charades without a trunk? I don't know. But I, using pantomime, will try and say, we are taking him with us to a healer.
Performance.
And that's a 23.
They got it. Perfect. They know exactly what you're saying. And they're like, oh, that's very, very kind of you. Thank you. That's good. That'll be some worry off of us. Thank you.
Now this is a little bit more complicated, but I'm going to pull out one of my pure black walnuts.
Okay.
And I'm going to present it to them, and I'm going to tell them that they can plant this in the ground, and a forest will emerge.
Okay.
And that's a 15 performance.
They seem to just barely get it. Like there's one you hand the walnut at him, and Eiffel takes it and is like about to bite into it, and then Rocky stops him and is like, "No, it's like, I think we should plant it. I think we should plant it."
I point at Rocky. Yes.
Plant it quickly and then run far away.
They get it from your previous roll.
Carrie, can you ask in Dwarvish if they will take us to the tunnel where this man's companions went?
Abo, he shibaba, he do shabba baba, and a little thought bubble that says like money appears over Carrie's sending stones. I'm making a Sims joke. It's going poorly.
It was along for the ride.
And Rocky suddenly looks scared. Last time we stopped going that way after Sir Lawrence's friends, or not enemies, friends, I don't know, since they all passed through here, they struck down so many of us. We've boarded up that tunnel. But I could. Yes, I suppose if you're going to help Sir Lawrence, I suppose we could. Yes, okay. I can do it. Do you want to go now?
Yes, now.
Should we
show it to us?
Should we take a long rest in the Fox Town?
Yes, but Sir Wiggles, keep it in your pants.
I'm not wearing pants.
Oh boy.
Put the lipstick away.
No. Okay. Do you guys have a store?
I don't think
they look at you like.
Store. Where you buy? Oh, I'll. Is there a village elder? Carrie, is there a village? Ask him if there's a village elder.
Hiba, chichipa bai haba. And Rocky looks at Carrie and then looks at you and shakes his head. And like as you come with him.
Carrie asked him if they have a store, a place where items can be bought and sold.
And the Rocky, who's like trying to lead you to the elder, tilts his head and says, "What? Buy, sell? What?"
Unbelievable. Okay. Well, we don't need to talk to the king. I just wondering if they had one. And we can go whenever you guys are ready.
Rocky looks very confused.
Do we want to rest here beforehand or no?
Yes.
Do you have a hotel?
Yes, I think we should rest, but before we sleep, Ryan, what can you tell us about these dwarven mercenaries? Did you know them?
I knew them very well. In fact, we were great friends. They would come, they would go fight, and they'd come back and tell us of their great adventures. Olga and Helga Ruttel. They were the most fearsome warriors I ever met. I did, if I say so myself.
But you could take them in battle.
I could take anything in battle. Whether they take me back is the question.
Wait, their last name was Ruttel?
Yeah?
That's not the same as Robert's last name, right? Or
It is?
Oh, it is. We already figured out they were his daughters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Did they ever talk of their father?
Oh, they mentioned it. In fact, this, after going when they're leaving for this expedition, they mentioned they were going to look for him after not having seen him for many a year. That's part of the reason they took the job.
Are you in love with them, Ryan? Is that why you took this job, to go after looking for them?
Ryan turns his head. I took this job because I am a professional.
You're going to earn that spyglass by the end of this trip.
You paid the price.
Buy the ticket, take the ride, as I've been told.
That is the arrangement as I understand, sir.
All right. Carrie, can you ask these Fox and Dorvish if there's a place that we can camp for the night?
I suppose you could take Lawrence's cabin. This is his house. No, it was his, and if you are his friends, then there's no better place. We don't really. Most of the houses in town aren't really, are like our size. They're not gonna fit you. So I think this is the best place.
All right. Before we take our rest, I do have one third-level spell slot. Is there anybody that either of you would like to speak with before bedtime?
No, but that does remind me. Let's see. Varian, does he have an item that we're looking for? Because I can locate an object.
Well, it seems like they have the Blade of Mortality.
Okay.
But if I remember correctly, I think you have to be pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. No, but that reminds me. Can I cast my second level spell slot and get tofu?
Sure.
We did forget to ask Sir Edmund how long he'd been here.
I mean, we could assume it's the same as Sheplin, right?
Maybe.
How long had Sheplin been out? I guess I just how far ahead is very, and I imagine quite far since he's had a year head start on us.
Yes. I think Sheplin said he remembered it was 419. I don't know if he was more specific. Alright, well, if nobody else has a better idea, I will just check in on an old friend, maybe. And I will cast Sending to Mori and say, hey, Mori, how are things going? How's your son? Well, any big news? It's very cold up here. We miss you. Hope to see you soon. You get 25 words to reply.
Oh, great to hear from you. Is me and Emor. Great to hear from you. Me and Emor are doing really good. We have. We're off on the road. We're starting new lives. We found lots. That's 25.
I think he was attacked in the middle of the message. All right, shall we get some sleep?
How can you just sleep after your friend died in the middle of talking?
Well,
Me.
Tortle,
Well, we can't change it from up here. If he's dead, he's dead.
I'm good.
Long rest, babies.
Long rest. And yeah, okay. You have a nice long rest in this pleasant area. It's very warm and it's kind of balmy. It's very unlike the climate you've been accustomed to. It's a nice change of pace.
What do you think would happen if I used the weather staff here?
I don't know what would happen.
Is rain in it right now? I forget.
Nothing is in it right now.
Oh.
Probably keep it that way and not ruin their whole ecosystem.
how does it work? It absorbs the current weather and changes it for what's in there? Or? Action can store weather, releases an action. So you're going to store balmy weather in case, we're someplace very unpleasant?
Well, I also just kind of think if you release balmy weather in the Arctic, it would just, sort of dissolve. It wouldn't be enough to counteract. But also, why ruin their whole setup? Because it's replaced by random weather.
Oh. Yeah, maybe we hold off on that one. So, down the tunnel?
Long rest. You are rested. You wake up in Lord Edmund Ackmas's cabin, feeling refreshed. You see
Can I snoop around his medicine cabinet?
Yes.
And I'm speaking figuratively, but I just want to snoop around the cabin and see if there's a journal, a diary, anything of interest.
Yeah. He was keeping a journal by his bed, detailing his last days. There was some various berries and leaves around that he seemed to be experimenting with by his bedside, seeing if he could cure himself. There's some more writing about that in the diary. In the diary, he talks about his betrayal by Hemen and how heartbreaking it was. He talks about losing Bilby. He talks about learning about the Fox people and his great admiration for them.
And his betrayal of Rocky the Fox person and his torn affair with Rocky's wife.
Yes, that too.
Fan art, let's see it.
I start making a drawing of it.
All right, shall we unboard this tunnel?
Yeah.
Yes, let's make this tunnel a little less boring.
Okay, so you as you leave the cabin, Rocky greets you, walks away from his family. He kisses his wife on the cheek. His wife is holding a baby that looks like a weird purple fox. And Rocky says, "You see. Oh, you can't understand Rocky
I
anymore."
recast comprehend languages.
See, that's my boy there. That's my boy. I was stuck in that weird squid man's grasp for like a year or something, and I got my wife pregnant during there, and she gave birth to that weird purple thing.
Hey guys, I've seen tiefling pugs before.
It's a fox that's like purple and has horns.
Great job.
Fox.
You just pat him on the back.
That's my son.
Okay. Little boy, do you want to
didn't
be my
realize It was
squire?
going to be that sort of show.
He breathes a little bit of fire.
Is that a yes?
I don't understand the language, and I understand all languages, so I don't know. Might have been abyssal.
Very handsome lad.
Lawrence Edwin Ackman Rosemary's Baby to a fox.
Oh, Adrian, hello. Well,
Okay, so if nobody wants to do anything, Rocky is going to lead you to the back of the cavern, past some overgrown trees and bushes, and comes to a boarded up tunnel with several glyphs on it. And Rocky says, Are you sure you could? I don't think anybody that's gone that way has lived since they've gone that way. If you know, you don't have to.
We'll be fine.
Rocky turns his head and he says, If you insist. And Rocky goes to the pulling the board and is struggling with the board.
give him a pound of kibble.
I will pull on the board.
Give me a strength check.
Natural 1.
You struggle even harder with the board.
That's a 5.
Oh, it's a 5. Okay, it comes. You pull on it, and it seems like it's not very strong. And you pull the board out, and the whole thing collapses, and it's open now.
Oh, well,
You're
that's
strong.
very open. Well, they can always board it up behind us.
We're very bad at building.
No. He's just pure muscle.
Look at that shell.
He's a brute.
What's down the hallway?
You feel a cold draft coming from down the tunnel as it leads up into the darkness. And Rocky says, "This is basically a straight shot. There's a few forks off the end, but just stay to the main tunnel and this'll basically bring you to the labyrinth." He shrugs. If you have to go, this is the way.
is this the way we want to go, guys?
I don't know. You hear it enough times, I'm starting to second guess myself.
I mean, we could just stay here and, each find a fox to settle down with.
Yeah, did you see that baby? That was not his baby. Oh my.
I mean, you don't know. Maybe.
You see Rocky just standing there looking at a drawing of his, looks like a depiction of his son. He says, "That's my boy. That's my boy."
After Sir Edmund Ackington came into ComeDy&D, we had a few little we had a few little mixed kids running around. Little pugs with horns.
Are you saying he was your father?
No. Do I look hideous? Answer's no. Right.
Wiggles, do you have horns? Just like little nubby ones that are covered up by your fur?
Oh, I don't know. Do you need to roll for it? I mean, I thought that's where my combat training, my teacher told me I got hit there. Who knows? Not up to me. It's up to God.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm in the sky. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Roll for it.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I roll. You tell me.
That's just the same as asking him to decide.
I mean, they're not. I don't breathe
Does
fire.
Well, did you want to have horns or did you not want to have horns?
Seems like he didn't want to have horns.
I'm
If
not
you were
making.
rolling to not have horns, you definitely have horns.
I'm not making this decision for you.
If you were rolling to have horns, then you definitely don't have them.
I mean, there was talk of a baby who had horns sawed off when he was a kid, who was prophesied to go lead an expedition in the north in the name of the queen. But that's got to be someone else.
I mean, that sounds a lot like you, but I wouldn't say that you're leading the expedition.
Yes, it doesn't quite match.
Right.
It's kind of been a group effort. I think we are a triumvirate.
No offense, Ryan and Sniffles.
Sniffles is behind Wiggles. Says, "You're leading me, sire."
That is unsettlingly true.
All right. Well, it sounds like nobody's really into the fox breeding idea. So let's head down the tunnel.
I didn't exactly say that. All right, let's go.
You don't want to all just stay back and each fuck Rocky's wife.
I'd like to use my flashback.
Take one stress.
Wait, is she the only eligible person in the colony?
No, but it is the funniest one.
Yes, I guess so.
Does all of the baby's brothers and sisters look like half fox, half like cake seal, half fox, half
cake
ice
seal.
goblin?
One of them is half orc and a quarter raven.
That child fox looks half delicious.
Part carry.
Rocky, apropos of nothing, says, "That's our first child. We tried for years and years, but I don't know. I don't know why it took so long. It took me being mind controlled and not being here for us to have a baby together."
This is a very sad story. I'm sorry that I cannot communicate better with you. I'll just look sympathetic.
Why are you looking sympathetic? This isn't happy.
Oh, yes.
You turtles are weird. You look sympathetic when you look happy.
I know. I get that a lot.
Well, that's the creepy cave music. I don't know. We should be on our way.
Creepy, creepy, cavey.
All right, into the cave. Hearty handshake to Rocky.
Rocky shakes your hand back.
is so soft.
And as you all go in the cave, he starts putting the boards back.
We're here forever.
Don't worry, it's very easy to knock it down, it turns out.
No way we're getting out of here. No, that was luck, Lee. All right.
You all proceed up the cave. The balmy warmth of the Foxtown disappears behind you and is replaced by just the sheer cold of this tunnel. It is once again pitch dark. Unless somebody does something to alleviate that.
Yes.
I have dark vision.
We alleviate it.
How?
We torch it.
Okay.
We torch the darkness.
Do neither of the spellcasters have any kind of light cantrip?
I have, I can make a 5-foot cube bonfire at will, but it's kind of a lot of work to like put it in front and then we walk up to it. It starts to get hot and we have to move it up.
Can I prestidigitate some light?
No.
Are there any tracks? Is it like dusty enough that they would have stuck around this long?
Where you are, why don't you give me a survival roll?
Can you believe that one baby was half fox, half purple worm?
11.
Like,
Nah, it seems like there's enough like water comes through this tunnel every once in a while and washes stuff away. You can't really see anything recent.
Cool.
Cool. You proceed up the tunnel. You come to a fork where there seems to be some smaller pathways going deeper down into the mountain, and then the one you've been following seems to continue up.
Well, they said to go on the main one, so we should probably check out the side ones, right?
Bless you.
yeah, that's where all the treasure is.
Just real quickly, and we'll send Pompadour very kind of slowly, and well, I guess he's invisible too. We'll send Pompadour down 500 feet and see what's down there.
Pompadour goes down, and the side thing kind of opens up into a cavern that then seems to have a few shafts that go straight down. That's about 500 feet down, or there's a cavern about like 400 feet down, and then there's the exits that you can see to that are like shafts going straight down,
Like mine shafts?
like natural looking cave, as far as you can tell, natural looking cave shafts. As far as Pompadour's trained mason eyes can tell.
Yes, he is a carpenter by trade. And, okay, well, I will have him come back and I will report my findings. It seems to open up and then just fall straight down in several places.
Well, hard to imagine anything interesting would be down there. Right, Sir Wiggles?
Should Tofu go? I don't know.
I don't think he would survive the fall.
He couldn't climb up that rope. It's nothing personal, buddy. Just you have feathers.
Or maybe he could, like, chimney his way up.
You still have that comprehend languages thing going? I don't know what he said.
I don't think it's a language.
I think he probably said, "Don't throw me down the mine shaft."
I think we could
Wiggle.
safely assume that.
Wiggles, you hear, I am an excellent climber.
He says he's an excellent climber.
And Lee just hears,
Well, if he wants to try it, I guess.
How far down was it again?
you didn't see.
I didn't see.
The entrances were 400 feet down.
400 feet down. Let's see. That's
Yes,
40.
they were 400 feet.
40 d6.
There's a 400 feet down the fork. There was a cavern, and that opened up a little bit, and then there were some steep drops into as an exit from that
How
cavern.
gravity works? I'm a dog.
What?
All right. Let's keep going.
Cool. You proceed down the main tunnel.
Yes.
Cool. You proceed down the main tunnel, and you go and you go, and after like an hour, you can start feeling it getting a little bit extra drafty. And you proceed, and you smell the sheer cold of the Antarctic. And then suddenly you turn a corner and you see light cast upon a wall ahead of you. Natural light. And as you proceed further and you go around one more corner, you see the blinding light of the sun outside.
Powerful, stealthy.
I guess that means we should put out these torches.
Okay. Perception check.
Sure.
All right. 11.
You're blinded by the light. You don't really see anything.
Revved up like a douche. Okay.
Another runner in the night.
Alright, I'll send my bird flying out to take a look.
Your bird exits the cave and sees that the cave exits onto a high plateau on the side of the mountain range. It's a plateau that is about like 500 feet across before it drops off into a sheer cliff. And as your bird... Almirage was your bird's name. Almirage turns around and sees a large icy structure built into the side of the mountain next to a couple hundred feet off from the cave exit. And you see what looked like two figures in front of this the big structure is like this big icy thing, like a mountain made out of ice, but it seems like all the angles are like all right angles, and it seems unnatural somehow. And there's a big crack down the middle of it, a big alley. What am I thinking? Fissure, but like a straight fissure, like right angles down the middle, and in front of this fissure on the ground, it looks like there's like two figures hanging out there.
Like people or statues?
You gotta get closer to see.
Alright, I'll describe everything that I see. Shall we go meet the locals?
Yes. Should we spread out?
Well, it's kind of a small tunnel.
I see.
I mean, the tunnel opens up into this large plateau, and then on the other end of the plateau, there's this giant structure and the figures in front of it, which would be like a 500 feet away from you if you exit the tunnel.
I guess we could go out and spread out. Sure, Sir Wiggles.
I'm tactical.
Is there
Combat
like
expertise.
Is there like a tactical badge in the Puglandia Pugliden Corps?
Yeah. Yes. Spelled TAK. And then just a feather on the bottom of a dog foot. Tactical.
I see.
So we'll approach, but I'll be on tofu, so I'll be a little bit ahead.
So do you just like spread out and are like approaching these figures from like 3 different directions, or what's going on?
Yes, just in case they fireball us, I guess.
What's that?
Ubad, are you cool with this plan?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, Ubad is moving slowly behind them.
Cool. As you approach these figures, it looks like there's like a woman kneeling before a figure that seems to be stuck up on like a pole or something. And as you get closer,
It's like a carving or something on a pole?
it looks like a person up there.
Oh, okay, it's a person.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's not like a pug or a loxodon or a turtle. It's just a human. Don't worry. Or a snake or whatever riot is.
You can't.
I'll yell, Hammond.
You see the woman immediately jump to her feet and turn around. She is rather familiar to you. It is Pelia.
Hey.
She shouts, What ball could go wrong here? Ubad, stop! And she looks at you. And what do you do?
I cast Hold Person.
Cool.
She needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Is this a charm effect?
Probably.
I mean, it's not charm.
It's
an enchantment spell.
It is an enchantment spell. Okay.
I believe. Let's see.
What does she need to make?
Cookies.
Cookies would be nice. So what is that? That is plus
Nice.
5 plus
It's not a charm.
17.
You see her stiffen up and fall over like a paralyzed board.
Who's eating paper now, huh?
I will run over.
Yeah.
She
Take
looks.
out the manacles that she gave us. Well, I guess she didn't give it to us. Never mind. The little gnome gave it to us.
Tebby.
Tevi. Yeah, I miss Tevi. He's the big bad evil guy, right? Okay, so I will manacle Pelia.
I see you've disenchanted yourselves, it seems. I don't even know why I'm fighting anymore. Fellas, I could use your help. She's manacled on the ground, I assume.
Yeah. Who is this human?
You look up and you see what looks like a high elf tied to a pole in front of the structure, dead, frozen, wearing robes.
I saw a baby.
You see a this is very happy music for this description. You see an amulet around his neck that seems to have the symbol of the eye, a symbol of the Order of Silence on it.
Can I pull out the Death's Watch and activate it on this corpse?
Yes, you can. You walk up to the corpse with the death watch, and suddenly the whole world around you fades, and you see you suddenly see a high elf driving a spear through the dead figure, and then you see the high elf looks very nicely dressed, and I believe you saw a picture of Varian. You know this is Varian Asteria. And off to the side, you see, or with him, you see two dwarven sisters behind him looking kind of shocked. And to the side, you see a human holding a piece of paper that you assume to be Hemenlutz because you've seen pictures of him.
Can I run over and look at the piece of paper in the vision? Or is it not?
Yeah.
Is it more like a dream where you try and you can't read?
You can run up and see the piece of paper, and on the paper you see what looks like a maze drawn out, and a path marked through the maze.
Okay, try to memorize it.
Cool.
How good's your memory?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You know,
And
they say,
suddenly,
a turtle
sud-
never forgets.
suddenly this vision disappears, and you only see the world around, the real world again around you again.
Okay, I pull out a paper and try and draw as much of the path as I can remember.
You do that.
Look, guys, I've got a map. It's just like scribbles.
How the hell did you do that?
That's a good job, Lee. You are really leading this expedition.
Hey.
Thank you, Ubad. I didn't realize it would only be me seeing the vision, but tomorrow, if you want, we can come back and you can watch it. But it looks like this high elf was killed by Varian.
Yeah, I could have told you that. This was,
Yes, but who can believe anything that you say?
I suppose that's fair, but you gotta believe me that at this point, I honestly thought that he would have killed Varian. I honestly did. But it seems that Varian got the best of him, and now Varian obviously got through the ice labyrinth, and we have to stop him, and I cannot do this alone. And, well, I don't think I'm in the position to make demands, so I'll just say I can help you.
Well, so who was this high elf? A member of your order?
This was Ephraim. He's went with the expedition. He was supposed to assassinate Varian when they got off path, but seems like it didn't work out.
I see. I forgot he was a high elf. So, tell us what you know. Spin us a tale. Convince us to join you.
So, see, the order of silence, we try to keep things like this under wraps a little bit. We don't like the world being destroyed, you know, so we try to keep, whenever stuff like this pops up, like the Crown of Winter, we try to stop anybody from getting a hold of it. Plan was to, we all trust that Ephraim would stop the original expedition. It was my job and a few others to stop you guys as any other rescue efforts that come up here. You didn't happen to see some other fellas, did you, from this order coming up? I was supposed to meet up with them, but they never made it here.
No, don't know anything about those guys.
Deception roll.
Do you have that shield that gives you advantage, or is that only persuasion?
Persuasion.
Yes, I've never heard of these knifey or grabby, I'll say, and help Sir Wiggles.
What did you want? Persuasion?
Yeah.
Or
Deception.
Deception.
deception? Sorry. 16.
She believes it. Yeah. Supposed to be kind of.
I just nudged Lee and just like.
It would be kind of coincidence you ran into them, wouldn't it? Anyway, if Varian got in there, Varian's in control of the artifact more powerful than I really know how to describe. I understand it can control all kinds of ice magics, you know. It's winter themed, you know. You know these mages are always theming themselves. And I still got my knives. I could sneak in. You distract him, I stab him in the back. We be done with this.
And where did you get your magical trinkets that you used on us last time?
Yeah, the order. Well, experts in magic items. We use a few of the more mundane ones to stop the more powerful ones from destroying the world. Makes sense to me.
And you have a warehouse somewhere full of all these artifacts.
There are places where they are kept. There are safe houses, so to speak.
I don't know. Why should we trust you?
You shouldn't. But
Yeah, that's the issue that we're having now, yeah.
It's a pretty good reason to trust her.
it seems right now we have the same goal, do we not?
I forget. Weren't we just trying to kill you?
Were you trying to just kill me? If that's your goal, then what's stopping you?
Just say the word and I'll have tofu sit. That's it.
Please not. If you were to grant just one request, if you're gonna kill me, don't have the seal sit on me.
All right, Lee.
Oh, we could do things much worse than kill you. We could have you hang out with Sheplin all day.
Not that guy. Oh, jeez. I have nothing else for you. Either you accept my proposal and I help you, or you kill me, or you torture me. There's nothing worse can happen to me than...
Is she big enough to hold up?
No, she's like a full-grown ass woman that is not wasted away for a year by a curse.
Have to ask.
Ubad, I can reduce her in size if you want.
Oh my god.
But, I mean...
We should hold on that for later. I think she should accompany us, but stay manacled and we remove her gear. But she can just be throw her on the back of Tofu there. If that's okay with Tofu.
It's better than killing me. But I swear, I'm pretty good with a knife. You saw that firsthand, I suppose.
We should probably cut her hands off. That's a good point.
Yes, that makes sense.
I can't because I'm a paladin.
Well,
Yeah, you sure acted like a paladin up here. I seen that.
I only use, like, hammers, so that won't work either.
That'll work.
You can crush her hands.
It's much messier.
But every time you do, she moves 5 feet away.
You can move her hand 5 feet away from her body.
Just one Eldritch Blast, they both pop off.
All right, tell you. Well, what What shenanigans do you still have on you? Do you have any more of these mind control papers?
I only brought enough for the team.
Anything else?
I got my tricks. And if you want to know a complete list, I'll tell you next week.
Pele, we may all be dead next. Oh, I get it. All right, it sounds like we're okay with her traveling with us. Is that right?
I'm gonna make her eat paper.
Yeah, I mean, it seems better than just outright brutally murdering her in the snow.
I mean, I do like these necklaces. I hold up the 2 Order of Silence necklaces we got off the other guys.
Ooh.
We could always use a few more of those.
You don't even know what those do you?
Oh, well, maybe I'm testing you. What do they do?
She scowls at you. Is that a real question? Look, we could either go or you could waste my time, but you can't do both.
I think we very well
bet
can.
we could, yes.
Tofu, sit. And Tofu sits and she rolls off. See?
No,
See that?
She looks very annoyed.
That's me playing nice.
I think that she's right though, because now we're not going. We're just annoying her. So
Yeah.
the goal was to do it
We'll
both
throw her
at once.
back on, and
Okay.
I think that's. I think as annoying as that was, Pelia, I think you're still karmically the debt is on your side for betraying us and trying to kill us. And
Comically, the debt is on my side for trying to save the world. Ooh, bad. I think you gotta reconsider the situation.
every supervillain thinks they're saving the world. You're
And every superhero thinks of saving the world as well.
Yeah, every asshole thinks that their way is right and that they know the best things, and you are just another asshole like the rest of us. But you just have to belong to an order of assholes. Some big asshole got you into their asshole cult where you go around and kill people to show that you're the biggest asshole. So just you can kind of chill it with this saving the world thing.
You ever heard of the massacre at the massacre of
Pelia,
the-
have you
the
seen your
Seagate-
family massacred by rhinos before your face? 'Cause if not, don't speak to me of massacres. I've lived through them.
You know,
People don't need
actually,
magic items to massacre.
I have seen my family killed by rhinos. Thank you. This is a memory I didn't need to relive, but yes, that's the thing that happened.
You guys see the massacre of Rocky's wife? It was crazy.
It's family rhinos holding up. They got this item called the Sun Lance.
Wait,
I heard about
are you
that.
guys like
They
brother
lit
and
my
sister after
they lit
it
my
turns out?
they lit my whole. Rhinos can kill more than one person. Lee Mary Shelley.
Just
But
seems like a
yes,
big
my family was
coincidence.
killed by rhinos. Ubad, thank you for reminding me.
Heard about that on Fox News at the
Yes,
Fox
you
Village.
could have bonded with me about that, but instead you choose to be high and mighty and Lord because you have an order. We have the order of
Yeah.
silence. We have the order of talking and having a good time. So just you want to come with us. You come with us. You have to wear the manacle. You have to surrender your lockpick and your blades for now.
You know, coming with you guys was not on my top 10 things I wanted to do, but killing Varian is, and I think that's where you're going. So I'm practical, you're practical, we should go together. That's where I'm at.
And we don't want you to outrogue Ryan right now. He's very sensitive. He's in a dark phase.
Look at his hair fall in front of his eye.
Ryan is faced away from you, and his head turns all the way around. And he says, "How can there be darkness when the sun never sets?" And his head turns back.
Eerie.
Crazy because he's like 300 feet away.
It's bothersome.
So Pele, have you just been like standing here staring at Ephraim's body for like days?
I got here a couple days ago, and I've been trying to figure out my way through the labyrinth. But that damn thing, you go the wrong direction, it spits you right out. You say you have a map? How the hell did you get that?
Oh, I drew it. I drew it.
So you did.
All right. Well, why don't you show us the entrance?
We're in front of it. There's a big, it looks like a big like ice wall with like a gap of like 10 feet in it. All at right angles.
I see. So it's actually made of ice. Why don't we just melt our way through it?
You know what? Try that one too. It seems like there's magic involved.
Magic.
Tofu lick.
His tongue
Tofu.
will stick to it.
Tofu.
Well, maybe we should venture into the maze next week.
Does anybody want to say talk to Pele anymore or do anything else before you go into the mage and before we cut for next week?
Tofu stand.
We will take Pelia's daggers and
Tongue.
And I will
but any thieves' tool or any
I will give you
weapon.
and I will give you an inventory of what you took from her next week on ComeDy&D Adventures of the North.
Woo! Take that. Little half fox baby. Eating purple worms, putting dudes in a glove. Love it.
Wild.
Wild. Is that a giant comb?
It's a comb for curly hair.
That's like a +1 comb.
It's a nice looking comb.
Oh, everybody leveled up.
What?
Oh, snap.
Now
It's
you tell
happening,
us.
you guys.
What is Pelia
happening.
now?
Shit.
Pele didn't level up.
She should have been grinding.
Sniffles?
Sniffles leveled up, sure. He's now level
him.
-1. Up from
Oh.
negative to 0, too.
I can breathe without it hurting.
I love to breathe.
He just has a natural 20 stealth.
I am not getting good hit die rolls.
Well, at least you're rolling a d8. I got a 5.
Oh, snap.
That's very high for
That is
me.
higher than what I got.
Any raids? Anything we're doing before we leave? Because we're not leveling up on stream.
Oh,
I'm
oh,
canceling
I'm
that.
doing it. I am. I'm doing it. Stop
I'm
me.
just doing my hit die.
Watch
Yeah.
me.
The real question is, wizards don't get anything at level 7. Should I multi-class? I mean,
But what about level 8?
I was thinking about taking a level as Bard to get Healing Word,
oh, nice.
but then I realized I would only have one spell slot for Healing Word.
True. Well, you could upcast it if, in an emergency.
Oh, I can take damage for one of you.
Oh, thank you.
Someone's buying me lunch.
That's so nice.
Boy, how
I
can I
think
exploit
I just get... Ooh, another invocation.
Thanks.
Always good.
Uh,
All right, well, good night, everyone. Thank you to Sirenscape.
hi.
Thank you to Gamescape.
Should we raid Critical Role? Or
Sure.
Mark Smalls?
Oh, Mark Smalls.
Fuck, ComeDy&D. Oh.
Comedy Andy?
Comedy? Andy.
Did anyone follow him?
No.
No. Is Mark Smalls online?
I don't actually know.
Okay, I'm taking Devil's Sight.
Nice.
ComeDy&D. He's gotten so much play on this channel.
I do not see Mark Smalls online.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not.
All right. Well, everyone have a good Halloween.
Oh, there's Father Bill's on. Oh no, he's off. It's a priest who plays VR.
Neat.
Happy Halloween. Be safe. Don't eat razor blades.
Don't kill cats in front of my apartment.
Unless they're candy cats and candy razor blades.
Unless they're evil spirits trapped in a cat, kind of like Chucky. That's probably what happened, Kevin.
Yeah.
At least you got to convince yourself that so you don't feel too bad. Or
I'm
some
just closing my eyes and saying, coyote. It was a coyote.
Some outside lands cult. It's like, yeah, sacrifice this cat. You can get in to see DJ Avon or whoever the hell is. I don't know. Who are musicians anymore?
I think they're all AI generated, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what they did with Lizzo.
Are we offline? Are we still online?
No. Good night,
We're
everyone.
still-
Good night, everyone.
See you
Good
next
night.
week.
Bye.